Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only Quant. QNT. Dude, I don't think I've ever talked about this coin, and I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Today we're going to be doing a full technical breakdown. There's going to be zero fundamental stuff because I don't even know if I broke this coin ever down, and if I did, it may have been literally when I just first started this channel. Um, I just searched it up. Yeah, 11 months ago, 1 year ago, two videos, dude. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell I said last time. It's been like a year. But look, I had this random chart marked up. We had this zone. Anyways, dude, let's just break everything down. I don't even know if this is a real wick to the downside. Dude, that is some crazy manipulation. If that's the case. They just took out every single bottom. But let's just assume it's not, right? Let's just assume it's not. Let's maybe Coinbase. Oh dear God, I have so many things drawn up. Oh yeah, remember, I did do something on the stream. I did do something on the stream. I think back in April or May, I was talking about it, but dear God, all right, let's just go back in time. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, right, this data is good and fresh enough. We can see Quant is actually in a very, very special place. Now, I do remember actually breaking this down on a stream a few months ago, but we're going to make it into a video now. Listen, right, we have these bottoms over here. We are on the monthly chart. We're going to start with the higher time frame, and then we're going to go into a lower time frame, and we can see that we are consistently, in terms of the bottoms, creating higher and higher lows, which is what we love to see, right? We're creating higher and higher lows. Not sure the 3-month candles are. The 3-month candles, wow, this is so messy. This is actually some of the most unique price action I've seen in a very long time. But we can see we are creating some bottoms right back in 2022, back in 2024, and even 2025. We're consistently creating higher and higher lows, which is what we love to see. Now, I remember last time I was talking about is that Quant was also creating consistent lower and lower highs. We can see consistently we are creating lower and lower highs, right? Boom, clear as day, clear as day. I'm going to remove some of the wicks so you guys are able to see everything. Boom. Okay. We can see clear as day, ladies and gentlemen, right? Boom, low, higher, low, higher, low. We have a high, lower high, lower high, and another lower high at $132. Okay. And then came this moment, right? We had another lower high at roughly $112. But then in July, we got our first higher high. Can you believe that? We got our first higher high, boom, at $115. Now I will say though, I do want one of these edges to get taken out in terms of taking out structure. I do want to see closes above $132. This isn't bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is the end of the goal. Now, I will say right away, when I look at something like this, I already see an institutional candle. Well, what's an institutional candle? Pretty much, let's just say a bank candle. Right away, I see one at the bottom of over here, which we tapped into, and then we saw instant momentum to the upside. And over here, we can see that we did have another institutional candle, which then we sold off. We can see in recent times, there is some momentum to the upside, right? We can see that in the last couple of days, let's just say over the last week or so, we have gone up roughly 25%. So not bad, not bad. But I do feel like the momentum is fairly weak, if I'm being very, very honest. This structure is some of the most unique structure I've ever personally seen. I won't lie to you guys. Yeah, I mean, Quant AI, Quant, I mean, it's just this structure looks like it would be named Quant. No disrespect, but yeah. So we can see though, we are forming consistent higher and higher lows though on the weekly. Even though we don't have too much momentum, there's still a good chance that we will tap off this weekly institutional candle right over here. I do want to see how we will react off of the $116 to $120 zone if we will continue to sell off, right? If we do tap into these institutional candles over here. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, it is looking fairly solid. In terms of 3 month, it actually looks pretty good. Why? Because we have these lows over here, and then we have a higher low, right? For 3 months, we failed to kind of really sell. Yes, we do have this consistent floor, or sorry, this consistent roof. We can see practically since October 2024, we haven't really got candle closes above $107. I mean, if we really nitpick certain areas, this one closed at 106 dollars and 30 cents. This one closed at 107.42, and then this one's currently at 106.92. So yeah, we can see, right, there's been lots and lots of rejections, but I do personally believe because we are consistently rising the the floor, that I do believe there's a breakout to happen. Like I really do believe there's a breakout. Now I do sort of notice a trend. We will do these two lines like this. Doing too many trend lines could be bad, but this is proper context. We can see that overall, right, boom, we are touching certain points. So we can see that overall, we know like the higher we go over here, the more rejection there's going to be. That's why I did say, I want to see how we're going to react practically off the 120, because off the trend line and off this institutional candle, there could be a decent reaction. We can also see, ladies and gentlemen, if I do something like this, it's not exactly perfect, but we are also kind of pushing, we are looking to be going consistently higher and higher. This is happening with a lot of cryptos where we are running out of time. We are running out of space. Okay. So I overall do believe the time to be pushing up is going to be in this quarter, because this yearly candle, dear God, what the hell is this price action? Is very unique, but I do believe we should be seeing some type of move to the upside. I will say the 6 month candle is not that good, but at least the 3 month, the monthly and the weekly look fairly good. And I do believe that there's going to be a huge burst to the upside. Now, how high are we going to go? Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. Well, that's a very interesting question, right? Some people believe this project is going to do extremely well. Some people think it's going to do okay. I personally am a believer, and I personally think, I mean, might be a non-popular opinion, but I think we can hit 35 to 45 billion market cap. Now that sounds kind of crazy now, but I've said this before that this project can hit $3,000. I really truly do believe so. I know people kind of get shy to the idea of a very high number, but it's, the number doesn't really matter too much, right? It's more about the supply, the market cap, and etc. So us, hitting that roughly 35 billion to 45 billion market cap zone, $3 quant, for me, that is realistic. Personally, I personally think so. I mean, some people might say I'm crazy, right? Some people might say I'm crazy, such a far, margin away, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but to move even a couple $100 doesn't require, obviously requires some serious money, but it doesn't require the most amount of money. When we go to all of the structure, I truly do believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be having some nice Fibonacci numbers used. All right, I do believe. No, why did I reverse this like this? I do believe we will have very nice expansions. I probably think we'll probably be hitting the 3.2 zone fairly easily. And the 3.2 is 1.4K. Now, obviously, that is not $3,000, but that still would be roughly a 13 to 14x from here. And that is just a Fibonacci tool, right? People thought it's crazy to assume Quant is going to have insane pumps and go from $10 to $300, $400. But that happened, right? And you remember, it's all about ratios and it's all about market cap. Overall, we have been just accumulating for God knows how long, many years now. And I see a huge wave coming. In the events where this coin kind of becomes a dud and doesn't do the best, I do believe at the minimum we should be taking out this high back from 2021. So at the worst possible case scenario, you should be looking at 4 times your amount of money. Truthfully, I tell you. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be in terms of technical analysis. Yeah, it's a pure 10-minute video of technical analysis because I haven't done a technical analysis, like I said, pretty much in a year. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.